Miami Heat fans were upset that they didn't trade Tyler Herro for Donovan Mitchell, so Herro told them to keep that same energy on Twitter. But are they wrong? He was Sixth Man of the Year, but had back-to-back horrible postseasons. In Miami, it's all about the playoffs. Even Pat Riley said, as for being a starter, come to training camp and win it. Yeah, being Sixth Man of the Year in the regular season, not good enough to be a starter. But the big question now is, how much do the Heat actually value him? Herro is up for an extension, and if they don't come to an agreement, he will be on a different team next year. Herro was drafted in 2019 with the 13th pick. That is second to last in the lottery. Normally, guys drafted that low are barely above average. The Ringer analyzed pick performance last year, and they found that the number 13 pick had the same impact of Landry Shamet in his first 4 years. But Herro had the value of the number 4 overall pick. He was amazing for the Heat in their bubble run to the finals. After those first playoffs, Matt Barnes compared Herro to Kobe Bryant, saying that the Heat had a really special player. But now they have a big decision to make because the whole world has turned on him. It all started really after the bubble when the fame went to his head. People were calling him the next Miami Heat superstar. All of a sudden, he's dating an IG model, showing up in Jack Harlow videos. Here's a picture he actually just posted on a private plane with rap lyrics. Wonderful. And the #1 Heat insider said the team started to get concerned.
Tyler Herro chose to become a celebrity. He chose to become something outside the game.
We saw it coming, though, from the very beginning.
His rights with
we
his
asked him
breakfast cereal and his Tyler Tuesdays and his Chipotle Bowl, and that's all well and good. But you know what? Other players, when they see a player doing that before they've truly reached it, they sort of take an askance view of the guy and say, wait a minute, buddy, you haven't done anything yet.
None of that actually matters, though, if he continued to ball out. You can act like a rock star if you are actually a rock star. So how did year 2 go? Great on offense. He improved across the board, especially as a playmaker and a scorer, but that came crashing down in the playoffs. The Heat lost to Milwaukee. Tyler scored 9 points a game on 32% shooting with under 2 assists. His defense got worse too. Players shot 45% with Herro guarding them and an ungodly 41% from 3. Obviously, this kid was overrated from the bubble. He played great with no fans in the stands, but fell in love with himself, not the game, and did not put in work. How's that Kobe Bryant comparison coming now? But he heard the noise and was amazing in year 3. He was the Heat's second best scorer off the bench and had 8 30-plus point games. He was a huge reason Miami got the 1 seed, winning Sixth Man of the Year, but then scored like 13 points a game in the playoffs, 41% shooting, 23% from 3. This kid is just not a winning player, and the Heat are idiots for overvaluing him. Pat Riley had the chance to trade him for James Harden, but wouldn't put Tyler Herro in the deal. They just lost out on the Donovan Mitchell trade. And those people who hate Herro say, look, he might be great one day, but their window is now. Jimmy Butler is in his late prime. Just flip Herro for a win-now player. But Herro lovers say it's an overreaction. Before the 2021 playoffs, he missed almost a quarter of the season with injuries. This postseason, he injured his groin, which slowed him down late in the regular season, then made him miss games 5, 6, and 7 of the conference finals. If Herro had played, maybe they don't even need Jimmy Butler's last-minute shot to go in. Then they're in the finals playing the Warriors. So which side is right about Tyler Herro? The only opinion that matters is Pat Riley's. Herro's future in Miami is at stake this offseason, and this isn't getting talked about enough. The most he can sign for is 5 years, $181 million on a max extension. But no one thinks he's getting that. I mean, obviously he thinks he's worth a max, but money is only one problem here. Herro also said he wants to start. They already have Kyle Lowry at point guard. They didn't pay him to come off the bench. So they have until the start of next season, which is mid-October, to get a deal done, or he'll be a restricted free agent next summer. This happened with DeAndre Ayton, and the Suns were forced to pay him once the Pacers wanted it. What I think happens is the Heat offer Herro a very low salary, hoping he turns it down. That way they can say, look, we wanted to keep him, he just demanded too much money. But in reality, they want to keep their options open for getting another star. If Herro does sign an extension this offseason, he becomes basically untradeable as a poison pill contract. That would take them out of any star that demands a trade before this coming trade deadline in February, like Damian Lillard. But even if it's not a star, what about a very good power forward? That is actually Miami's biggest need. What about someone like Miles Turner or even Harrison Barnes? If they don't sign Tyler Herro, they can trade him for one of those players. But if they do want to keep Herro, what's a fair contract? Well, RJ Barrett just got 4 years, $107 million. Not too bad. But RJ is the Knicks' #1 option and a full-time starter. He plays defense. Herro is at best Miami's 3rd most important player, behind Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. 4th most important option if you include Kyle Lowry. 3rd and 4th option players do not get the RJ Barrett deal. They get like the Colin Sexton deal, which is like $80 million, and Herro is never gonna accept that. So Herro and the Heat are headed for an awkward situation. They're not gonna agree on a deal, and other teams can try to poach him next offseason, which would actually be a disaster if he signed somewhere else. Miami would lose him for nothing. How could Pat Riley pass up trading for a guy like James Harden or missing out on Donovan Mitchell and not trade Herro to get them? It all will come down to how Herro plays this season. He is going to try to win that starting spot over Max Strus in training camp. Then he'll need to be just as effective as he was off the bench, but while sharing the offense with Jimmy Butler. His defense will need to improve, but the biggest test will be in the playoffs, because after the bubble, it has been back-to-back disasters. We'll find out if injuries actually were the problem, or if the Herro haters were right and the bubble was a fluke, just like his teammate Duncan Robinson. Tell me how you think this is all gonna go in the comments. Are you a Herro hater or a Herro lover? But it's another reason for the Heat not to pay him. They get to see if he really is on their timeline and worth a contract. If not, they need to trade him because Butler and Lowry's window is closing fast. Possible teams are the Raptors, the Spurs, the Wizards, really any team that can be willing to unload veteran players for a young offense-first guard. And the East is getting a lot more competitive. We have Donovan Mitchell going to the Cavaliers, DeJounte Murray going to the Hawks, and Kevin Durant going back to the Nets. But there is a crazy story about how the Nets got KD to agree to come back to Brooklyn. I made a whole video about it. Check it out.